Tyreek Hill traded in the division to the Miami Dolphins. Marquez Valdez-Scantling replacing him today with the Kansas City Chiefs. After seeing the MVS contract, I've been told, like everybody else, the Patriots just weren't in on that at that asking price, at that number, which makes total sense. I think that we can all understand why the Patriots didn't want to give $18 million in the first 2 seasons of the contract to MVS. He's just not the type of player that they are going to overpay. But you look at Tyreek Hill in the division, we're about to pull up the mock draft. Does this change at all what types of corners you would like to see the Patriots go after, or how they build their defense, knowing that in Miami, they're going to have to deal with 2 of the fastest players in the league on the same offense?
Not really, because they needed speed anyway. I don't know that, I can't even think of the word, but emphasizes the need, I guess would be the word. But I don't think it changes anything.
Yeah, it does help that a guy like Kair Elam tested in at 4.38, 4.39, something like that. Trent McDuffie is a really fast corner too in this draft. It has great open field tackling skills. So maybe those are some of the guys that move up their board a little bit. But the main thing that I wanted to hit on with the Tyreek Hill trade, more so than the corners, is what the Patriots are going to do moving forward at wide receiver to get a talent on that level, to get a Tyreek Hill, to get a Davante Adams, because at this point, what we have seen is 2 things. Either you can overpay for average players, like Christian Kirk gets 4 for 72. MVS gets 3 for 30. Those players are not big time needle movers, right? Those guys are not big time game changers. So you can go in free agency and you can overpay guys like that. Or you can give up 5 draft picks and make Tyreek Hill the richest man at the position in the entire history of the National Football League to get somebody like that. Or you can draft somebody and have him on a 4-year, cost-controlled, low-budget contract. If you're Bill Belichick, I think we might be getting to the point where Bill looks at it and says, for years we felt like wide receiver in the draft at the top was too boomer bust for us. Too high of a bust rate. We didn't want to take the chance with a high pick. Now it feels like the draft is where the value is at for wide receivers, because these contracts are getting absolutely nuts. And on top of that, to acquire the guys like Hill or Adams or these players that aren't moving in free agency, they're moving in the trade market, you have to give up a 1st-round pick this year, 2nd-round pick, and 3 picks next year to make it happen. So at some point in time, if you're going to try to go out and get one of those wide receivers, it really feels like everything is pointed towards the value now being in the NFL draft, which kind of brings us to where we're at now with the 21st pick.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But, again, we've talked about this. It might be a big need, but it feels like it's a luxury need at this point. You still need a top-tier corner. Guard is still a need. I feel like the linebacker position, they've gotten closer. That's probably pushing luxury need at this point. Putting a lot on Mac Wilson, if that's the way you're going to go. But between him, Bentley, and then you hope one of the 3 guys who was injured last year, Hall, McMillan, McGrone, one of those guys gives you something, then okay, maybe you're all right at linebacker. And Dante Hightower is still out there as well. So I still don't know. I mean, we'll get into the board here. I still don't know. The other thing is a much deeper wide receiver class than it is corner class. I actually think this is a relatively
it's
down.
not necessarily that I need to see, like, I don't necessarily think my take is that they need to take a wide receiver in the 1st round. But when you start to think about, okay, we could draft a wide receiver in the 2nd or the 3rd round, pay that guy a couple $1 million and not have, I think at this point, we always talk about quarterbacks being such a valuable commodity to have on a rookie contract because you don't want to pay $40 million like the Cleveland Browns are paying Deshaun Watson, right? Or Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. You don't want to have to pay that kind of money to your quarterback. Now it honestly feels like the wide receiver market is starting to align with the quarterback market, where do you really, to get your number 1 guy, do you want to have to pay him $25 million a year? That's now the question with wide receivers too. And we might be saying, I think we might already be saying that the value is to have a wide receiver at the top of your depth chart on a rookie contract, because not only do you get him for 4 years for cheap, you also have franchise tag control. You also have other, types of controls. If you take them in the first round, you have a 5th-year option. So if you take a first-round receiver, you have them for potentially 5 years plus the franchise tag. So you have them for 6 years before you actually have to pay them.
Right. Unless he holds out and demands a trade.
Of course. Thanks for watching our content of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Please subscribe to my podcast, Patriots Beat, on our YouTube channel, Patriots Press Pass, or wherever you get your podcasts for a lot more exclusive content right here on the CLNS Media Network.